Imagine walking into a bakery. The warm, inviting aroma of freshly baked bread fills the air, wrapping you in a comfortable embrace. You might think of the golden crust, the soft, pillowy interior, and the satisfying crunch with each bite. But have you ever wondered about the journey this humble loaf of bread has taken to reach your table? Today, let's embark on an engaging adventure through time and process, uncovering the fascinating story behind the bread we all love. Subscribe now and join Captain Discovery's journey. Bread is one of the oldest prepared foods, dating back to the Neolithic era, around 10,000 years ago. It all began with a simple mix of ground grains and water, baked on hot stones. These primitive flatbreads were likely the first iteration of what we recognize as bread today. Over time, the process evolved, and different cultures around the world began to develop their unique versions of bread. The Egyptians were the first to master the art of leavening bread around 4000 BC. Using natural yeast from the environment, they discovered that letting the dough rest before baking resulted in a lighter, airier texture. Their love for bread was so profound that it was often buried with the dead to ensure they had sustenance in the afterlife. They even built ovens in their tombs to bake bread in the afterlife. In ancient Greece, bread making became more sophisticated with the introduction of various grains and flavors. They baked bread in communal ovens, a practice that spread throughout the Mediterranean. Greek bakers became highly respected, and bread was a staple in their daily diet. Fast forward to medieval Europe. Bread became a fundamental part of daily life, with every village boasting its communal oven. Bread was not just a food item, it was a social event. Bakers were crucial members of society, and the quality of bread was often a matter of civic pride. In fact, during times of famine or poor harvests, bakers could be severely punished if their bread didn't meet the community standards. In the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution brought significant advancements to bread making. Mechanization allowed for the mass production of bread, making it more accessible to the general population. Innovations such as the mechanical dough mixer and steam-powered ovens revolutionized the industry, leading to the variety of bread we see today.
Then, just look at it. Wonderful bread. They've even got a machine to take the bread out of its pans.
Isn't it fascinating how a simple loaf has such a rich tapestry of stories baked into it? Now, let's move from the past to the present and explore the modern bread-making process.
What bread do you like best? You can take your choice with Sunblest. For me, cottage loaves with their crusty bases are the best. See how they're shaped?
Now let's dive into the heart of our journey, the modern bread production process. This intricate journey transforms simple ingredients into the delightful bread we savor. We'll break it down into 5 main steps: mixing, fermenting, shaping, baking, and cooling. Our journey begins with mixing the ingredients: flour, water, yeast, and salt. In large industrial bakeries, giant mixers capable of handling up to 2,000 pounds of dough are used. The precision in this step is crucial, as it affects the bread's texture and flavor. Can you imagine mixing such a massive batch at home? The ingredients are combined and kneaded until the dough reaches the perfect consistency. a process that can take about 12 to 15 minutes. Fun fact, the mixing process incorporates air into the dough, which is essential for the bread to rise properly. Next, the dough undergoes fermentation. This is where the magic happens. The yeast starts to consume the sugars in the flour, producing carbon dioxide and alcohol, which cause the dough to rise. This step can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the type of bread. Did you know that during fermentation, the dough can double in size? This stage is also critical for developing the bread's flavor. Quick quiz. Do you prefer a dense bread or soft and fluffy bread? What time of day do you enjoy eating bread the most? Breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Is there a type of bread you find particularly interesting? Share it with us. After fermentation, the dough is divided and shaped into loaves. This step is where skill and artistry come into play. In industrial settings, this is done using machines that can shape thousands of loaves per hour. However, the traditional hand-shaping method is still revered for artisan breads. Picture a baker expertly folding and rolling the dough, ensuring each loaf has the right structure and texture. This stage not only gives bread its shape, but also influences its final texture. Baking is where the dough transforms into bread. The loaves are placed in ovens that reach temperatures of up to 475 degrees Fahrenheit, 245 degrees Celsius. The heat causes the dough to rise further, creating that delightful crust we all love. This process typically takes 25 to 45 minutes, depending on the bread type. Here's an interesting tidbit. The Maillard reaction, a chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars, occurs during baking and is responsible for the bread's brown color and complex flavors. Imagine peeking through the oven door, watching the dough rise and turn golden brown. Finally, the bread must cool before it can be sliced or packaged. This step is essential because it allows the bread to firm up and makes slicing easier. In large bakeries, bread is cooled on racks or conveyor belts. Cooling typically takes around 1 to 2 hours. Ever tried cutting into a hot loaf of bread? It can be tempting, but allowing the bread to cool ensures you get perfect slices without crushing the tender interior. As with many large-scale production processes, bread production has its environmental challenges. From the cultivation of wheat to the energy used in baking, each step has an environmental footprint. However, many bakeries are now adopting sustainable practices. For instance, using locally sourced ingredients reduces transportation emissions, and innovative baking technologies helps conserve energy. Some even recycle waste products or use biodegradable packaging. Supporting these eco-friendly practices can make a significant difference. Thank you for joining us in exploring the production process of bread. If you're amazed by the blend of technology and craftsmanship we showcased, like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe to Captain Discovery for more interesting journeys.